Hello my lovelies, how are you all doing? Come in, settle down. We've got ourselves a series that I'm starting, which I wasn't expecting, but a couple of weeks ago I just started building something and I thought it was interesting. So we're doing a little community lot. So you'll see I've done a couple of little boxes in different places because we're going to do slightly different establishments in each of those. I do faff around quite a bit in some of these early ones. I'm also not going to do any kind of video tours until the end because I kept coming back and changing things in other parts when I went on to move on to different sections. So the first thing that we're kind of building is like a little restaurant around this side here. I know this promenade already has sort of like cafes around it and things, but I kind of want to do like a little kind of nice and chill restaurant. It's got a lot of neutral colours and things in it. So I'm just getting the floor plan of it sorted out. And this does change a fair amount from what I remember as well. And some toilets upstairs. And we've got like a little upstairs seating area and then downstairs because when I took the kitchen out, it took up most of the space. So there's a lot of Dine Out, I think, for this. I was trying to kind of theme each of the buildings with kind of mostly sticking to a pack, although this is now full of all the packs that I have because I was enjoying myself too much and I did all kinds of things. So I faff around a little bit trying to like work out whether I want some booths and trying to work out what kind of decoration I wanted. I know I wanted like pale wood, I wanted like a warm light, but trying to work out exactly how I want to decorate it took me a little bit of time. I've cut some of that out because it was, to say the least, slightly irritating. And speaking of irritating, I believe later I faffed around with trying to find fences and stairs railings that match, and I can't believe we don't have more of those. So I've got a little host station with like a nice little designy bit. I know it goes up against the window, which is a little bit odd, but I quite like it. And then I eventually found some tables that I liked and started designing out the sort of downstairs area. I must admit, I don't do gameplay all that often, so I haven't actually played with Dine Out, so I don't know if there's any kind of setup to the tables that you should be using to make Dine Out work. I don't know if it changes anything, if your layout is a bit weird. I've heard that it is very glitchy, so that's always fun. There's been quite a few glitches I've found recently. I don't know if anyone else is having this problem. I think I saw Devon Bumpkin talking about it. But like when you put curtains up now, sometimes the curtains will go automatically, the snap point on the outside of the window. In one of my builds the other week, I cut out a significant section of me faffing around with the windows and trying to shift the windows back and front because I thought I'd put the windows the wrong way somehow, which I'd never experienced before, so I got very confused. It's nice to know that there's some new bugs for us to play with. I still don't think they fixed the mirror thing, which is the thing that annoys me when I'm doing some nice like shots of things, and then you have like a nice mirror in the wall, and suddenly you're looking out at like the sky, which doesn't make any sense. So speaking of mirrors, I've put a couple up on the side there. Done a little coat rack, so if you want to come in and put your coat down you can, and then some hanging baskets outside, make it nice and sort of decorated. And then I start using this concrete, which is like the closest I could find to the main like street path. Kind of annoys me that I couldn't find the street path because it would be really nice if that could like connect up and then it looks like it's sort of built in a bit more. So I'm doing a little bit of landscaping on the outside. I think I build up more and more of that as we go on the series as well. And I use kind of similar seating throughout most of this lot. So there's like a nice little sort of stone seating there. It's a little bit of moss on it. But you know, might not be the most well maintained. Then we can do ourselves a little bathroom. Now I was planning originally on having these little cubicles in there, but I underestimated how big they were, and I believe I do that a couple of times during this series. So we're going to go and get some nice like countertops. I wasn't thinking anything too flashy in here, but like kind of nice, sort of sticking with that kind of sort of minimal colours, greys and kind of tones of that. And I think it might be the first time I've used things like the towel dispenser in any of my builds. Put a couple of little bins in each of the cubicles. And so I go around and put a load of hanging ivy and things around. Try to make it look a little bit kind of green, because I realised it was getting very one palette at this point. So I thought some plants would like spruce it up a little bit more. And then I faff for a little while trying to get the soap dispenser in a place that makes sense. And then we're going to go into the main seating area at the top. So we've got ourselves some booths again. There's some I actually stick with them. And just putting those around. I think I've played around with the location of them and put some seats there. Again, I don't actually use much the way of this, so I don't know with the booths whether those tables can have chairs attached to them and still let your Sims sit in the booth. So I didn't do it just in case. But if you do want to, when this lot is ready, if you want to download it and play with it, if you can add them on there and it works, then by all means do. So I had some mirrors at the top to try and give a little bit of like an illusion of some more space on there. And then this section here was screaming out for some artwork for me, but I did find a sign. So I tried to get a couple of signs around to make it look like this was an actual restaurant or like actual establishment as we go around. Put up a nice bit of decoration there. And then I was trying to work out whether I wanted like some dividers. And I ended up just going with plants, which tends to be something I do where I'm like, oh, I could put something here that kind of a bit like architectural, stands out a little bit. And then I'm like, I could just put a plant. We're going to put a plant down. Put a couple of those around, get another like, I think that's like a hostess station, is it called? Or is it, I think it's got all of the sort of napkins and things that you might need. And then I play around with the wall trims and stuff outside. I do fill in that gap, I think. And just try and make it look kind of nice from the outside as well. And then I've got the little kitchen area inside. And I think this is the last thing that we'll be looking at. I put a little door to the outside. I realised in a number of these, there's a few situations where I've put like a little staff room and there's some where I've put none. So this doesn't actually have like a little staff room. It's not very big, so I can't imagine they would need very many staff here, but in my head at one point I was going, right, so if there's no staff room in this one and there's no staff room in this one, maybe some of these buildings are owned by the same people and people have access to go and sit somewhere else. It doesn't make much sense for someone to own a restaurant and some of the other lots that I put on here, but I kind of tried to tell myself the narrative so I didn't have to try and squeeze one in because I was struggling, particularly here at the restaurant, to try and stick another room anywhere. So again, there's a lot of the Dine Out stuff here, I think, some nice little rug things to catch any of the food, and one of the server windows, which meant I had to move the stairs across one just to fit that all in, but I don't think that loses anything by doing that. And then I think I go looking for some signs and yeah, some like fire exit things. But I think that is where I'm going to leave you for now. Thank you so much for watching. Do subscribe if you want to see more of this community lot, and I will see you in the next one.